Hey, Circuit Breakers, welcome to another episode of Freedom Circuit. I'm Streaming John, and we got a good show for you guys today. And we are 1732 streaming, by the way. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and cover a couple topics today. We're going to cover the Freedom Circuit Sports Update. We're going to cover Virginia politics, as we usually do. Also going to cover the SAVE Act a little bit here, and then the Iran War. But before we get into that, if you guys don't mind, give us a follow at Streaming John on Facebook and Instagram. And you can also follow us on Rumble, YouTube, and TikTok at 1732 Streaming. And also, if you don't mind, drop some comments. That really helps the algorithm out and lets me engage with you guys. I have gone back and forth on Facebook with a lot of people, and I do appreciate that. So, without further ado, let's get started here with Freedom Circuit's Sports Update. All right, sports update here. All right, so let's get into NASCAR here. Tyler Reddick wins again at Goodyear 400 at Darlington. This is his fourth win this year, only out of 6 races. He is on fire. Rounding out the top 10, you had, of course, Tyler Reddick, Brad Keselowski, Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bell, Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., William Byron, who was actually doing okay in the race, Chris Buescher, and Eric Jones. That's your top 10 for the Cup Series. Truck Series, your winner, you have Corey Heim, the number 5. It was the Buckle Up South Carolina 200, just beating Ross Chastain, who was doing really good as well. And then, of course, in the O'Reilly Series, you got Justin Allgaier. Those guys over at Junior Motorsports are on fire. We also got the UFL coming up here, football fans. That's coming up on the 27th at 8 p.m. Your first game will be Birmingham at Louisville. You got the rest of week 1, March 28th through the 29th. The regular season runs through the 31st, May 31st, and playoffs are June 7th and 13th. What is your favorite UFL team, or do you even watch the UFL? Drop some comments on that. I would appreciate it. Just so you guys know, we're a DC Defenders fan here. If you have not watched a UFL game, I highly recommend it. I personally enjoy them a little bit more than NFL. I have to say, those guys really just like to play football. So that wraps up our Freedom Circuit Sports Update. All right, now let's get into the rest of the show here. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, it also on Rumble, there's the Rumble wallet now. So if you think the show is doing well, if you can go to my Rumble platform, you can tip me. It all goes back into the show, pays for the technology right here. So we have the green screen and the graphics and stuff like that. I'm a one-man show, so I pay for everything for myself right now. And if you don't want to tip, that's okay. You can also tip your other creators. You can tip the gamers and everybody else that's on there. So it's just a good way to show your content creators how much you enjoy their content that they're putting out, and helps us keep putting it out there for you guys as well. So I really appreciate Rumble for pushing that out there. It's one of the best ways to show your love for your content creators. And now let's get into our next segment, the Virginia Update. All right, Virginia, hotbed of activity here that we got going on in Virginia. As you all know, I live in Virginia, although I am a native-born Texan. Don't ever forget that. But I do love Virginia. It's our ancestral home. My family's been here since 1732. Oh, there's the name of the channel. Oh, how about that? Also, the year George Washington was born. But I love Virginia. I don't have any plans to ever leave Virginia if I can avoid it. I actually like it here. It's where I met my wife and where I had my kids, so I don't really want to leave. But Virginia's got some distress going on here. Now, we're going to go ahead and talk about the Second Amendment. Lawmakers in Richmond have passed a major bill banning the sale, import, manufacture, and transfer of the newly defined assault firearms, or, as you liberals like to call them, scary guns, and also including high-capacity magazines. This is at the governor's desk. It's already passed the House. It's already passed the Senate. So AR-15s. If she signs this after July 1st, 2026, it will be illegal to buy an AR-15. Now, this is an example. There's a couple other in Virginia. Now, if you have one before July 1st, wink, wink, everybody get out there and buy them now. You can still own them. You can also still transport them if you're taking them from somewhere or another. and but you can't sell them and you can't purchase them anymore. So, and also you would not be able to carry them on public public easements, walkways, properties. So sidewalks, public parks, all the places that you could carry before in the state of Virginia, you won't be able to carry these assault weapons anymore in the state of Virginia. So, guys, that's a huge infringement on the Second Amendment. You got to get a hold of your representative. You need to support anybody that you possibly can, because if the governor signs this, which I give about a 99.999% chance that she will, support these groups that are going to be willing to take this to the court. The courts are a hope for us, because in the past, the courts have ruled these to be unconstitutional. So even if she signs it, there are good possibilities that this will go to court and hopefully get overturned. So, you need to support these groups. The Virginia Defense League is a good one to support. They're one of the ones that are willing to go to court, and there's a couple of other attorneys out there, and I forgot his name. He's a really good one. I wish I had his name. I'll find it for you guys on the next episode. But support these guys, financially, volunteering, getting the message out. Do whatever you can to take care of this, because there's some other things there, like red flag laws. If your neighbor just calls the police and says, I think John Smith is, he's unstable mentally, and there's no case of that, whatsoever, but they just say it, law enforcement can take your guns away and give them to a responsible adult, or I think they can hold them too. But there's not really a process there, and then you could go through this long drawn out legal process of a year, 2 years, whatever, 6 months, it doesn't matter. Any day that you're not able to protect yourself is not a good day. So these are the types of laws that we just need to stop as soon as we possibly can. Do everything you can to do that. Support these Second Amendment groups, and if your county is not a 2A sanctuary, get a hold of your board of directors, town hall, whoever your representatives are there locally, and push for them to be a 2A sanctuary. There are a lot of 2A sanctuaries in Virginia, thankfully, and I think it's gonna be very hard for the state to enforce these laws when these local jurisdictions aren't going to do anything about it at the end of the day. A lot of these local sheriffs and stuff like that. So that's a good thing as well. But yeah, so that's the Second Amendment. Now, we have a big election coming up here in Virginia on April 21st. Early voting has already started on the gerrymandering. All right. The gerrymandering is bullshit. We've done multiple episodes showing the maps where, for instance, I live in Hanover County. Hanover County, now the jurisdiction, we're separated by 100 miles, goes all the way up into Northern Virginia and taps into like Prince William and all that stuff, and Fairfax up there, and takes their population, and that's now my representation because they dwarf us in population, right? Hanover County is nowhere near the population, even those little slithers of Northern Virginia. So, effectively, my representation at that point will be coming from Northern Virginia, which is very heavily Democrat liberal. So I will have no say on what happens in Hanover County at that point. I'll say it again. Hanover doesn't give a shit what happens in Northern Virginia, and Northern Virginia does not give a shit what happens in Hanover County. So, vote no on this. Vote no. Don't be deceived by the ballot. Here, let me pull up the ballot for you again, just so we all know. All right, here's the ballot here. They use this, deceiving languages here, new congressional districts to restore fairness in the upcoming elections. All right, so what they're saying is, what they're trying to say there is, because President Trump has encouraged red states to do gerrymandering, and flipping seats over to the GOP, they're trying to fight that in Virginia. Now, if this law passes in Virginia, Virginia will become the most heavily gerrymandered state in the United States, and I would say the most unfair. And everybody's going to say, well, Texas is gerrymandering. Look at Texas's voting districts now. Look at them before and now. It's really not a huge change. They're nice little blocks for the most part, right? You got the cities that are weird, right? It's like that even in Virginia right now. But you got these blocks of voting districts. And then so it's still relatively normal. You look at Virginia, though, it's not blocks anymore. Every voting district has this slither that goes up into Northern Virginia for the most part. If they can't, if it's too unrealistic, they haven't tapped into Charlottesville and Virginia Beach. So you have like Eastern Shore tapping into like the Virginia Beach location. So you got all these areas that are now tapping into these liberal run areas that dwarf the populations of all these counties combined. And there's this one district way out there in Southwest Virginia that would still be red. So it would flip everything to 10-to-1 representation, 10 being Democrat, 1 being Republican. Right now, Virginia is pretty close to 50-50, right? I mean, Virginia is kind of a purple state. I mean, we've been blue for a while, but I mean, there's still that potential. This would just wipe it out completely. And they said that they would, restore it back after the 2030, census. Okay, guys, when have we ever known Democrats to give up power when they have power? Let's be real here. And if the elections don't go their way, and even with the gerrymandering, or do you think they're going to give it up? No, they'll push it to the next election, then the next election, then the next election, and it'll always be temporary. So, guys, don't fall for it. Don't fall for this wording here. It is not fair. I don't care what Texas is doing. I don't care what the other states are doing. I love Texas, but I mean, I live in Virginia. We don't care what they're doing. We want our representation in our state to be fair. We don't want to change because orange man bad, according to the left. So vote no. Do whatever you have to do, guys. Get out there. Show this ballot to your friends. You can find a sample ballot on virginiaelections.gov. Show them the ballot. Ask, do you think this is for the ones that are on the fence? Do you think this is fair? This is a deception. This ballot is a deception at the end of the day. So know what you're voting for. It sounds great. Fairness sounds great at the end of the day, but it's not fairness, guys. They're lying. They're lying. They're always lying. So, yep, and that election takes first on April 21st. Now, some good news is early results are already showing that the GOP early election voting is up, even more so than it is in Northern Virginia. But the polls haven't opened yet, right? Obviously, now typically you have the left; they have earlier voting, but now you see this big surge of GOP voting right now because they don't want this. So get to the polls, guys. Early voting if you have it in your location. On election day, if you haven't gone early voting, get your asses there. Take off work, whatever you got to do. Sorry, I mean, just get it done. We do not want this to happen in the state of Virginia. Once they get power, they're not going to let go. That's just I'm telling you, and it'll kill Virginia for the next 20 years. We're already in danger of becoming California as it is, and nobody wants to be California. Let's be real, But yeah, so that is our Virginia update. Speaking of voting, let's talk about the SAVE Act. What is the SAVE Act? The SAVE Act is the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act. What this means is they're trying to fix it to where only American citizens can vote. So there's not a bunch of illegal people or people that shouldn't be voting, double voting, all that good stuff. The SAVE Act will essentially make sure that you have to have an actual ID that states that you're a U.S. citizen to vote. I don't have a problem with that. You have to have an ID to buy cigarettes. You have to have an ID to get on a plane. Now, the thing is, you have the Democrats are saying right now, they're saying, oh, well, this is going to make it hard for people that don't have access to transportation or can't get IDs or can't afford IDs. Listen. Most states, by the way, do have a way for you to get an ID at a very low cost or free, actually. So that argument, throw it out the window. But let's be real here. These people that can't afford IDs, you're lying, all right? They got IDs. They have to go to the drugstore and get their prescriptions. They have to go to the store to get cigarettes and beer and stuff like that. So damn it, they can get an ID. It's not that hard. And this bullcrapper, they're saying, well, if you're a married woman, you won't be able to vote. Lies. Are you implying that women are too stupid to get an ID? Oh, but their name changed or something like that. Okay, show the marriage certificate. You have to have a marriage certificate. You have to have you don't have to have passport, but a lot of people have passports. You have a social security card. Not that hard, guys. Social security card. I've had to replace mine a couple of times because I've lost them like a jackass. It costs like $10. It's not that hard to do. And I live in another state. I had to get it from the state of Texas. Not that hard. Get an ID, secure our elections. Why are they pushing for this? Why are they pushing for the SAVE Act not to go through to where you don't have to have an ID to vote? Because they want illegals to vote. Illegals are going to typically vote Democrat because they want free shit. Secure our elections. Get a hold of your senators, because that's where it's tied up right now. It's already passed the House. It's tied up in the Senate. Get a hold of your senators and push this. Even if you know they're not going to do it, get the word out there. Because if we swamp them with, social media, we swamp them with voicemails, emails, they at least have to talk about it. And it at least gets covered in the news. And the thing is, most people don't mind that you have to have an ID to vote. There are multiple polls out there, even on the left. There are multiple polls out there showing that Americans don't mind that you have to have an ID to vote because you have to have an ID to do everything else. Hell, you have to have an ID to drive a damn car. So yes, guys, help push this through. It's tied up right now in the Senate. Get a hold of your senators however you can. Instagram, Facebook, X, email, whatever avenue you want to take, and tell them pass the SAVE Act. It's not racist. It doesn't hurt low-income people. Let's get it go. Start a movement, guys. Let's get it going. Push it, push it, push it. I'm doing my part, man. I'm broadcasting out there as many people as I possibly can. I know I don't have a huge following, but damn, I'm going to do everything I possibly can. I want to secure these elections. I want to make sure that Americans are voting for what happens in America, not somebody who crossed the border under the previous administration, doesn't speak English, coming in voting for the free shit. All right. So let's move on to our final topic of the day, the Iran war. All right, so there's some interesting things going on right now in the Iran war right now. A lot of people are saying this is going to be a forever war. It's not, guys. Damn, it's pretty much over at this point. Let's be real. We haven't declared victory yet, but I mean, there's really no leadership. They don't really have a military anymore. Their Navy is gone. Their Air Force is gone. The only thing that we have to worry about, which is a big problem, by the way, are terrorist actions on the homeland. We let 12 to 20 million people into the U.S. under the Biden administration that we didn't vet, and we have all these gotaways and stuff like that. God knows who's in this country right now. And you've seen some actions take place. You saw the shooting at ODU, the shooting in Austin. All these guys. There's some people out there that probably shouldn't be here because of the previous administration, and they are a threat. And that's what I'm worried about the most. But this war is not going to drag on forever. So one of the problems that's taking place right now, though, in Iran is the Strait of Hormuz is effectively blocked off. I mean, I don't want to say blocked off, but blocked off. And President Trump is trying to do everything that he can to get other European nations and especially Asian nations to assist with opening the Strait of Hormuz. Oh, well, if you're the big bad U.S., why do you need any help? Listen, I got you covered there. This is why. The United States does have oil coming in from that area, but we just took out Venezuela's dictator asshole. Well, I'd take him out. We brought him to the U.S. for trial, and now they're playing with us. We have Venezuelan oil. We have American oil. We have oil. So it doesn't affect us as much as it affects the European nations and mostly the Asian nations. That's the one that affects them the most. China specifically, which actually, not necessarily a bad thing. They don't get oil. So while this does affect us, and you do see a price hike in oil prices, let's be real, it's happening. The reason President Trump is trying to get the allies to participate is because since day one, even back to when he was president in 45, is because he doesn't want the United States to be the world's police and have us pay for everything. Yes, we have a vested interest in the Strait of Hormuz, but not as much as everybody else. So he's trying to get these people to pick up some responsibility and go out there and protect their interests at their cost, not at the cost of the United States. So think about that. If America wanted to take over the Strait of Hormuz, we could do it probably in the blink of an eye. Let's be real. Let's be real. We have the largest Navy, and I think it's the third or fourth largest Navy in the world. That's the Coast Guard, by the way. It's really not that hard. We have the largest Air Force, and we have the second largest Air Force in the world, U.S. Navy. It's not, we could probably do it, guys, but he's trying to get them to take responsibility, take some financial responsibility, because let's be real, I'm tired of having to pay for the rest of the world, at our cost. Oh, well, Europe has free health care and you get, 2 years off or whatever it is for when you have a baby and stuff like that. And we have free internet everywhere. That's because of the United States, you jackass. We pay for their defense. We've been paying for their defense forever through NATO. The United States, you, me, American citizens. That's why they have all this free shit. We're paying for it and we don't have the free shit. So think about that. Maybe we should stop paying for everybody, take care of ourselves. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't be isolationists. Not a good thing. The United States should never be isolationist. But if it doesn't benefit the United States or we don't have a vested interest, why are we supporting it? The United States is basically the United Nations. The United Nations, as President Trump put in a truth post earlier on this week, or last week, I believe, the United Nations is basically a paper tiger without the United States. That is 100% true. The United Nations does not exist without us, at least in any fashion that means anything. We're the strongest nation on this planet, and everybody treats us like shit. That's why I like this president. I'm tired of paying for everybody else's pharmaceuticals overseas. I'm tired of paying for everybody else's defense overseas. If it's an interest to us, fine. Put some money into it. I get it. I do. I really do. I mean, we are a large nation and we have interests all over the world. But it doesn't mean that we should be paying for Europe's free internet and healthcare. They should be doing that. Or their defense. Well, that's what I have right there on today's show. If you don't mind, guys, give us a follow. You can follow us at 1732 Streaming on Rumble, YouTube, and TikTok. You can also follow us at Streaming John on Facebook and Instagram. And if you guys don't mind, drop some comments. I really do like interacting with you guys on Facebook, even you liberal assholes who treat me like absolute shit. I find it interesting and hilarious, and it just gives me good content. I really do appreciate it, even when the liberals are being assholes to me, because it helps push the algorithm anyways. They're giving me hits. So keep it up, guys. And hey, maybe you'll get a response back from me, and I'll make you look like a total jackass. So that's the show for today, guys. Keep your head on a swivel. Stay safe. I'll catch you next time. Peace.